When I tell people we build factory-built homes, usually they think mobile home or a tiny home or a manufactured home, and that's really not the case. So those types of units usually have a chassis under them, and they are hauled down the road, and then they're craned into place and strapped, usually without having a foundation. What we're building here at Ford Homes, these are modular units that are factory built to precision. Today we're going to walk through the factory. We're going to show you what we're building. We have 3 homes going up right now. The floor assembly is done. You'll see the inspection process for quality control, and also interior walls being built because we built from the inside out, and also the roof structure being built and ready for structural insulated panels. All right, let's go take a look. On a job site, these would be on 3 different pieces of dirt with 3 different crews. Here, 1 process, 1 quality standard. This is the QC inspection sheet. It travels with this home through every stage of production. You'll see that the LVLs here at the bottom are built to quality standards. Everything has to be nailed perfectly based on our shop drawings, so it's not like traditional build. You have 2 layers of LVLs here on each on the perimeter instead of running like a rim joist. And then you also have our interior walls that are being built, so we build from the inside out. The last thing that'll go on for the framing will be the exterior walls, which are the structural insulated panels. You'll see here that we're also adding blocking in, which is important when it comes to installing things like towel hooks, toilet paper holders, lighting, things like that. So then we have the backing behind it, especially heavy objects like shower doors, things like that end up sagging over time. Everything is level. It's lifted up off the floor so we can access under it if we need to. And then when mechanical, electrical, plumbing, rough in comes through, it'll all stub through these walls, and then we will have it insulated and all buttoned up by the time it leaves the factory. And you'll see over here we have our shop drawings that the team has. There's multiple sets, making sure they're updated. And then we have NTA, which is the third-party inspector for the state of Colorado that comes through to make sure we're doing everything compliant and up to code. It actually exceeds building code from a lot of areas. And then we also have our boom here to be able to pick up our walls off of our 5-ton crane, so then we can pick up a wider load for the rigging side. And you'll see on the interior walls here that they are all labeled. So the team builds those, they label them, they know exactly where they're supposed to go on each of the houses. And here's the sheetrock. So it's LightRock that goes on. So we will sheetrock one side of the interior walls before MEP rough-in comes through, and then they'll stub everything through it. And once it's inspected, we'll come in and cover it up. So when these homes leave the factory, they will be completely finished all the way to paint on the interior, texture, everything is completely finished, cabinets in and everything else. Here's the other side of our shop where we have 2 5-ton bridge cranes, and you can see where they're prepping some of the interior walls and roofing structure for the walls. So we have a pitch on there. We have a 12-12 pitch on these homes, so they don't look like they are traditional factory-built homes. And they'll come in 2 sections. So you'll see these roof sections will be attached to the box section that's being built on the other area on the shop over there. Here's our cutting station. This is where we run our LVLs through the table saw to put a bevel cut on it to match the roof line for the roof units here, which you'll see in a little bit. And then we have another set of shop drawings over here where they're setting it up for MEP and also the framing. So everything we have to keep in mind as we're building, but these are very detailed plans and we need to make sure that we follow every plan. So it's not like traditional stick built on what it's like in the field. Over here you can see how robust the frame is. We have 3 LVLs run, and then we have our screws that have to pass through each of those to make sure they can hold up to the harshest conditions. So we think about it as these things are going down the road, they're shifting, there's movement. And then when they crane onto the site and when they're in place, they're structurally sound and better than a traditional built home. And this is where the ceiling will be dropped, where we have access into the crawl space, and then it's open in the areas where we'll have vaulted ceilings. And as we come over to the other side here, you'll see and get an idea of what we're running on that table saw to get that cut. So the sit panels will rest on this section here. And then on the bottom of that LVL is where it's going to sit on that wall assembly that's being built in the other units. So we'll have SIPs on the exterior walls and also SIPs on the roof structure. So these things are going to be Loctite when it comes to energy efficiency, and they're also better quality. And you can see here we have all of our floor trusses. So we purchased those in bulk to get a discount to reduce cost, because any cost that we can reduce then is passed down to the consumer on the attainable housing front. So we can still make a good margin, but then we're also providing housing at a low cost. And then you can see the walls that are being built there too. They're all pre-framed interior walls, and they're labeled so we know where to go in the next section. As we walk back in here into the factory, you can take a good look up the 3 homes that are being built. And then if we look underneath, you can see the floor truss system, and then also the double LVLs on the perimeter. So when the truck comes in, what we'll do is we will lift these up to the bed height of a truck. The truck pulls in, we lower back down on the bed, and they can pull them out. But these units will be completely finished when they leave. Up to the top of the interior wall there will be finished, and then the roof assembly will be a second piece of the modular unit that will be attached, and that will be attached in the field. Now that we walked to the factory, hopefully now you can see what we're doing different here and how it's going to make an impact into the communities we serve, especially in Grand Junction and Western Colorado. If you're in the real estate business, a developer, or want to make an impact in the housing crisis in America, just follow along and just know that we're just getting started.